Welcome in, Braves Today, bravestoday.com. It's all brought to you by Active Wealth Management. Go to Annuity 360, your free book. He is Lindsay Crosby. I'm Ben Taylor, and it looks like everything is finalized now. And Chris Sale is definitely a Brave. He was a Brave before, but because of the restructuring, let's break this down, Lindsay. Because
No, wait, hang on. He's now truly at heart a member of the Braves because he's given 1% to the Atlanta Braves Foundation.
That's right.
That's why he's truly a member of the Atlanta Braves now.
That's right. And for some reason, I guess I'd forgotten about that little nugget, and you had it in your story that a lot of players do that, and so I think that's very cool that they do that. And they're able to use that money to better the foundation and to help others. But let's talk numbers a little bit and what this is, because there are a lot of people that may be confused, going, okay, now wait a second. We got $17 million from Boston. Does that just go away? Do we put that towards the money? What happening? There's a deferral that was in place, but now it's not. So walk us through this thing.
Okay. So the existing contract that we inherited was for 2024. Chris Sale's salary was $27.5 million. Boston was paying $17 million of that. So that leaves $10.5 million for Atlanta. $10 million of that remaining $10.5 was deferred 15 years until 2039. And by the rules of the CBA, which, not a joke, I have on my computer open right now. I'm just built different, I guess. Atlanta had to fund that $10 million by July 1st of 2026. Okay. And then there was a $20 million option for 2025 that would automatically trigger under certain conditions, right? Like it was a club option, but if Sale did certain things, namely finish in the top 10 in Cy Young voting and not be on the injured list on the final day of the season, it would automatically pick up.
Yep.
Things are a lot simpler now because Alex Anthopoulos likes to do these things easily. So Chris Sale is making $16 million this year, and he's making $22 million next year. Now, because Boston gave us $17 million, everybody's saying, hey, Atlanta's making $1 million, but they're actually not. Chris Sale had what's called a trade assignment bonus in his deal. If you get traded, your new team has to pay you this money. So he got $1 million. So we are paying $0 in 2024 for Chris Sale because we owed him, because the salary he is now owed is $16 million plus that $1 million bonus. Boston's given us $17 million. Okay. Next year, he is owed $22 million. No deferrals, no options, just $22 million, done. That's it. What I like about this is you get rid of all of the deferrals and all of that dumb stuff.
Yes.
You get you don't have a vesting option that'll automatically pick up if certain things happen. Atlanta just has a decision to make for 2026. Do they want to pick up that option or not? There's no buyout, so they don't pay anything if they decide not to keep him. But it simplifies the money you're actually paying and gets rid of the deferral. It gives you one more year of cost certainty. And a lesser but also important point is it lowers how much Atlanta's being charged in the CBT, in the luxury tax, because they were going to be charged $27.5 million, and now they get charged less because it's based off his average salary. His average salary is now like 19. So in a lot of different, it works out well for everybody, right? It works out for Atlanta because they get more control of him and no money spent this year. It works out for him because now he gets extra guaranteed money that he wasn't getting before. He was only guaranteed the 27 with the deferrals and all of that, and now he's guaranteed 38 over 2 years. So he gets more money. We get more control, more certainty, no deferrals, and hopefully the team now has another frontline starting option next season if Max Fried and Charlie Morton are both gone.
There's that number again too, though, at $22 million. Everybody keeps talking about it. I mean, that seems to be the watermark with Alex Anthopoulos.
Yeah, and it's important to know that both for Freddie Freeman and for Aaron Nola, the reported offers did go over $22 million.
Right,
but it is true that nobody on this roster right now in any year will make over $22 million. And I understand. I don't think that's a hard and fast rule because, again, the Nola contract, the Freeman contract, Josh Donaldson did get a 1-year, $23 million deal. He's gone more than that. But it makes sense that it's like, okay, this is what we're going to do as far as this is what we're comfortable giving you because this is what everybody else is making, and we don't want to blow that money out of the water. That makes sense to me.
And of course, they made it official today because they ended up having a presser. You sat in on that as well. Did he say anything that, it sounds like he's happy to be a Brave, honestly, just from the clips that I've seen thus far.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like we talk about. He grew up in Lakeland, Florida, which is, I believe, the Tigers do spring training there, but it's about an hour and a half out of where the Braves have spring training in Northport. So he grew up a member of watching the Braves. He wasn't a Braves fan. He was more of just a general baseball fan. But his first autograph he ever got was a Chipper Jones autograph. Chipper Jones came to a camp he was part of at age 12 or something. He got a signed ball and a photo and all that. So he's very excited, he said, to join the organization with the talent they have, the history that they have. The quote that stood out to me was he said, this A, pointed to his hat, this A stands for something. And so it's a guy that understands, it feels like the way Atlanta likes to do business, likes to handle things as professionals, the standard with which they hold themselves. And he was actually in Northport for the press conference because he had driven in, I had assumed, to probably sign the contract, and then he threw a bullpen. He got to work. He was already working, already throwing, already meeting people and doing stuff to get ready for spring training in 6 weeks. And so he very excited, he said, to join the rotation, join the team, and to show that despite what it looked like the last couple years, that he still has it. He's still an effective pitcher, and this is the first time he said he's been healthy in the offseason in years. And so he's been really enjoying being healthy and being able to long toss and throw bullpens and not have to rehab stuff and worry about pain. And he's very hopeful that the work that he's done, the shoulder work and things like that, will keep him healthy through the season.
And I followed you throughout Twitter. You've been giving updates as well for what's going on. And you just mentioned it just a little bit ago. That was one of the things that was promising for me, is to hear that he's already doing long toss and he's trying to strengthen his shoulder and trying to get in pitching shape, because it sounds like, I told you that I would be ecstatic if we got 10 wins out of him. Again, I'll say it again. I think that proves Rosenthal wrong if they get 10 wins out, especially now that he's
2 years.
He's flipping free next year because the Red Sox are paying his salary for us.
He's free in 24. He cost the Atlanta Braves $0 in cash in 24.
So it's one of those deals where it's like, you get 10 wins out of a guy that cost you nothing. I'll take that all day long. And matter of fact, let's go work some more of those deals by the trade deadline in the middle of the season and see if we can get somebody else like that. So, but it was good to see you tweeted that out, and he is getting to work. So it does sound like his health, because you and I mentioned it. We'll recap, because some people were asking, because I guess they didn't read the whole synopsis of what you put on. He's had freak injuries, man. It's not been elbow surgery. It's not been, knee surgery from him landing awkwardly, or blisters on his finger that I'll talk about here shortly.
Yeah. Other than the Tommy John surgery, it hasn't been things that were his fault. And that's kind of the way that I've explained. It's not deficiencies in the way that he pitches, right? He broke some fingers when they got hit by a comebacker. I mean, Orlando Arcia broke his wrist, but by getting hit by a pitch, was that his fault? I'd argue no. Same thing here. He fell off a bicycle one time, and and I think he was like a rib injury. I mean, a lot of it's been really random kind of fluky injuries. The stress reaction in the shoulder, it's a very uncommon injury for a baseball player to have, and they couldn't link it to any specific thing that he did. It was just a fluke thing that could happen to any of us. Auburn University had one of their pitchers, exact same issue. Yes. He pitched one game, 3 innings, didn't pitch the rest of the year because they couldn't figure out what happened. He just woke up sore one day. So it's none of the issues have been because of the way he pitches or because of things that he's been doing. They've been fluky things. And he said he's been healthy enough. He's been throwing bullpens since November. He took off a couple weeks after the season, didn't pick up a ball. He was resting. And then he's been long tossing, doing shoulder exercises and workouts to strengthen it, and throwing bullpens since November. So he's healthier than he's been for years this offseason. And I think that bodes well towards Atlanta's chances of keeping him on the field in 24.
We got to thank Ford at Active Wealth. Go to annuity360.net, grab your free book, and talk to Ford as well. You can get your own nationwide Peak 10 illustration. Also, learn how you can get 20% immediate income and account bonuses, 8% annual interest growth as well. Go to activewealth.com. Learn how you can work with Ford and his Active Wealth team. You'll be glad you did. You can give them a call, 770-685-1777. That's 770-685-1777. Lindsay, I want to hit you with something before we get out of here. We keep doing nothing but propping up this Braves team and promoting this Braves team and talking about what the lineup's going to do. Now there could possibly be a 6-man rotation that takes place, which I don't foresee. That may happen a couple of weeks out of the year. I don't foresee that happening every single week, although there have been fans that have wanted it. However, let's go down the dark end and the dark trail of things. What is something that you absolutely it scares you about this lineup or you do not like about this lineup?
Your depth specifically in the outfield. Right now, you have Ronald Acuna Jr., you have Michael Harris, you have Jared Kelenic. All three guys project to play every day. That's great. If somebody gets hurt, right now, your primary outfield backup is Forrest Wall, who has a grand total of 13 at-bats in the major leagues. He has had more opportunities to steal bases as a designated pinch runner than he has had chances to bat. And it's not sustainable to expect him to play every day were you to lose somebody. So our own Jake Mastriani, he wrote a great piece about bench options for an outfielder. So go read it. There's a couple interesting things. Kevin Pillar, I think, is always an option to they can bring him back. They know him already. He mentioned Whit Merrifield in the piece, which would be really interesting because he could probably back up second and third base for you as well as outfield. So really interesting options there. Go check that out. But you got to find a tenured, experienced outfielder.
I just said just a minute ago how much I love this rotation. This is also going to be the problem with the Braves this year, in my opinion, and what scares me because of what I just said when I was asking you, how is Chris Sale's health? How is his shoulder? How are his broken fingers from years ago? Has he got arthritis now? Is he going to have trouble throwing a sinker or something? So, but it's not just that. It's the blisters on the fingers. It's the age of Charlie Morton, who's 40 years old, and Father Time is undefeated. So it's the unknown of Bryce Elder. What are we going to get out of it? Do we get first half Bryce Elder? Second half still wasn't bad. He still had a winning record in the second half. His ERA just jumped a little bit, so it probably could have been a little bit better. So that's probably my solution is I still would like to find maybe another right-handed pitcher of some sort, middle reliever, middle to late reliever. I mean, closing situations taken care of. It sounds like starting situations taken care of. But if we can just give Sale 5 innings, Fried 5 innings.
Five and dive, baby. Five and
exactly.
dive.
And then turn it over to the pen from there. So that would be my problem is the pitching. My solution is more pitching. So that it makes it very easy to do. And I mean, did he address that at all during the press conference with rotation and 6-man rotation or anything of that nature?
So Sale didn't say anything about it, other than he expects to start however much they need him to start. Anthopoulos mentioned last weekend after the trade was done that Atlanta's going to do whatever that they can do and need to do to keep him healthy. Didn't go into a lot of specifics. I wrote up, if you do a 6-man rotation, here's what it might look like. I do think because you have a couple different guys that could take multiple innings for you, whether it's Ronaldo Lopez, guys like that, you could make a 6-man rotation work. But you're probably more likely to just pop in and skip a day here, skip a day there, skip a start here and there to kind of give some guys some breaks, I think, versus a standard 6-man rotation, simply because of the extra strain that puts on the rest of your pen. But either way, you've got guys who could go multiple innings in the bullpen. You could figure it out if you needed to. Just, hey, 5 and dive. We'll send this guy out there for 2 innings, and then we'll use 2 relievers and we're good.
See, it's that simple. If it only came, because it wasn't that simple at the end of the year, which is my worry. So he's Lindsay Crosby. I'm Ben Taylor. Go to annuity360.net for your free book. Ford will provide that for you. Also, Lindsay's got a ton of stuff that's going to be going up on Braves Today, especially now that it seems like everything seems to be solidified. Pitchers and catchers will be reporting soon. It sounds like they're already working, which that's an annual, year-long thing anyway. So, Lindsay, as always, I greatly appreciate your time, sir.
Thanks, buddy.